Hello. Ah, hello. Ah, hello, lo. How are you? How is the chat? That's a fun thing to be able to do. Hold on. Yeet. That's, that's funny. Is the cat? Are you sober again? Yay! Welcome back to moderately functional brain. Which is enough, apparently. I mean, I don't have any more. It's enough to be a micro celebrity on the internet, and that is cool? Question mark. Ha. This time I don't need to spend the first 10 minutes of stream fixing my face tracking, which, by the way, is different now. I have forked a lovely project called Rusty Bridge. Well, that's a lot of Toby's. Hello. Bonk. Yeah. Where was I? Where was I before the army of Tobys appeared? I forked a fork of a lovely project. And I've immediately renamed it to Snake Bridge. So the program that most people use for advanced face tracking. And by advanced I mean like good. I could switch to bow. Is called VBridger, but VBridger has like 3 major turnoffs for people. One, it's not free. VBridger costs like $15 one time. And it's also more expensive on the model side, because for VBridger to work properly, you need model features. I love Toby Kadachi. Another. So what VBridger actually does is it it allows your 2D, your live 2D model to use where do I start explaining this? Hold on, give me a second. Alright. I think I can take one more hit. Yeah. What is it aiming at? Nothing. Okay, that's an AoE score then. I'm sorry, I got distracted. So, first of all, you need to know how models work. For facial animations, you usually use something called blend shapes. Whoops. Fuck that up. A blend shape is just, well, a set of shapes that you blend. Insane, I know. What you would do is you would, for instance, you would model the character with the mouth fully open, and you would model the character with the mouth fully closed. And then you can set a parameter to blend between those states. So a 0 would be fully closed and a 1 would be fully open, and you would name the parameter mouth open or something along those lines. And Live2D, the framework that most VTubers use for 2D models, kind of gives you the same concept, because that's a 3D modeling concept, but for 2D images. A Live2D model is kind of a 2D image projected onto a curved plane in 3D space, and then that plane gets kind of morphed around. That's how they work. Mostly. With some caveats. Bonk. And that's really cool. Because it allows you to do what VTubing thingies do. And you want that. But Live2D actually has fewer parameters than what an iPhone can track by default. Because Live2D was never designed for VTubing. Live2D was designed for, like, visual novels. So you could put face tracking into that format. That's what they made those for. Ow. And VBridger, well, bridges that gap, basically. The app that most people use for the face tracking, for the model animation and stuff, is called VTube Studio. That's the most popular, just general app for (2D) VTubing. And that app has a plugin system that allows plugins to add more parameters. And what VBridger does is it takes the blend shape, like the tracking information from an iPhone, and it it does some processing on it to make it work better for 2D, and then it kind of sends that to VTube Studio to do the tracking for you. A lot of VTuber tracking is just fiddling around with shape data and just parameter manipulation to make the model look good in motion, and kind of exaggerating all of your facial expressions because the models are very low on reactivity if you don't do that. Unless you are an expert at rigging and parameter rigging. You can get better results if you rig the model yourself, because one big issue with tracking is that it uses the face, obviously, and everyone's face is kind of different. But the points that are tracked are like semi-biometric in nature. So, what I'm trying to say is that if the modeler has a completely different facial structure from the performer, then there is a gap in how this works. There is strategies to minimize this gap, and most good riggers employ these strategies. But obviously there's still, like, something. And that is where you get... Oh, hello. That is where you get a lot of the, like, the nuance, the difficulties. And that is why the first thing people do when they get a new model is just sit down for the next 4 hours in VTube Studio and adjust all of the parameters until the model looks good. But you do have an advantage if you do everything yourself, because you can rig the model using your facial tracking data as the baseline, and you have the ability to change the rig. And that's really good. But yeah, so that's the... that very lengthy sentence is the first kind of thing there. It's not free, and it adds a lot more work to the modeling process itself. Because your rigger now needs to add rigging for all of the new parameters that VBridger adds. Which the second one I can't solve, but the first one I can solve. Because the project I based my code base on was open source, so this is free. And then the second thing that, like, people get some friction with VBridger is that VBridger does allow you to modify the parameter translation a bit, but only if you pay for it. And if you pay extra for it, like there is a dev mode where you can adjust how the shapes are handled. Oh god, I'll have like 17 alarms going off for my laundry because I set like 10 of them. Oops. I was trying to figure out when the laundry is, and I forgot that the way I did it, it will make a new alarm. All of them called laundry. Well, anyway. Hey. But yeah, so you can modify VBridger's behavior, though the default behavior is pretty good. But only if you pay even more money to unlock that feature. Which, I don't know, that feels kind of scammy. And yeah. the way that the open source software works, it's actually not delivered with default parameters at all, which is something I'm trying to say to change as well. But yeah, you get access to that immediately. And then the third thing, the thing that annoyed me the most, I own VBridger, mind you. I have it. I've been using it before. But the reason that made me kind of go, okay, maybe I should look for an alternative is VBridger is in Unity and it's Windows only. And the VBridger dev has no interest in making a Mac build of the software and no interest in making a Linux build of the software. And VBridger has a quite annoying issue when it is running through through Windows emulation layer, where it just has a massive memory leak for no reason. Which is a memory leak that you know about, because it is what had my model freeze after 3 hours of streaming. Because after 3 hours of streaming, VBridger would consume 75 gigabytes of RAM. But the machine I'm running it on only has 16. So after 3 hours, I would be swapping for like... Oh, how much is that? For like 60 gigabytes of RAM. Which at that point, macOS will kill the process. Because it's like, what are you doing? Your hard drive is about to die. And it kills the process. Which, you know, fair. Understandable. And that's why my tracking kept crashing. So the first app I tried out was is called Vitamins. Vitamins is a free but closed source alternative to VBridger. So it solves the pricing issue, but it doesn't solve the Mac issue, because while VBridger runs on Mac via crossover and runs on Linux via crossover, Vitamins is it's kind of weird one. It's an Electron app, so it uses like web technology. I think it's an Electron app. It's a partial web app of some kind. Electron is the technology that the Discord desktop client uses, for instance, which essentially just means that it's not really a desktop app. It's a hello. It's not really a desktop app as much as it is a web app pretending to be a Discord app, a desktop app. Which is also why so many of them run so poorly and why Windows 11 now uses about 10 gigabytes of RAM at idle. Because most of the system services on Windows 11 are Electron apps. Including, like, very basic stuff that has no business being an Electron app, is an Electron app. And that is why Windows runs so shitty these days, in part, is because, like, a solid 50% of the OS UI is now a web app. And if you're still like wondering, like, okay, but why does it make the RAM go bad? The browser engine that Electron uses to run the web app component of the Electron app is Chrome. And I don't think I need to say any more about why that might probably cause issues. If half of the UI apps on your operating system are running an instance of Chrome to exist. So, yeah. There's that. The problem with emulation, though, is that Electron apps are... modern Electron apps are notorious for not running well in an emulated environment because the hardware acceleration code that Chrome uses was rewritten a couple of years ago. Why hunt monster? I'm not. This is Monster Hunter Stories. This is the one where you raise and pet and hug monsties. It's just the franchise name is Monster Hunter. Can I pet that dog? Yes. You can pet the dog. Do I have pet equipped? I do not have pet equipped. Let me equip pet.
How horrific.
And then I need to find a mon. I don't know if there's an overworld pet button. But I know that there's a pet action for battle. Ah! Sorry, where was I? I keep getting distracted or sidetracked. Hello.
I've got this. Let's go.
Just relax.
Good dog.
You're the best.
That animation could have been done better, but you know. That is, I've pet the dog.
Let's do this.
Petting is a combat action in this game. Anyway, I can actually one-shot these, so quick finish.
Pretty good.
There you go. I do, however, need strong charged slash. Yay! Where was I? Right, so modern Electron apps, Chrome's hardware acceleration feature has been reprogrammed a while ago. And for Chrome usage, it's a lot better than what they were running before. Like, there's no doubt that reprogramming it was a good move, but the way it is implemented now means that if you are running Chrome through an emulator, like an operating system emulator, like Wine, which is a Windows compatibility layer that you can use to run Windows apps on Linux or on Mac. It is what Crossover and Proton and all of those things are based on. All of them are running Wine under the hood. But if you do run Chrome in Wine, the hardware acceleration just completely breaks, and the window either doesn't show up at all, or if it does show up, it's empty. And the reason that's a problem for Vitamins is because Vitamins is using that. So if you start Vitamins in Wine, it's just white. It's unusable. And I could have fixed that. You can try a couple of command line options to make Vitamins run. But ultimately, I was just unhappy with the idea of, because turning hardware acceleration off obviously reduces performance. And that's fine if the performance of the UI renderer doesn't matter with something like the app I use for the throwing stuff, like the app I'm using so you can throw things at me for 100 channel points. That one's also an Electron app, and that one's running without hardware acceleration because the part of it that needs hardware acceleration isn't running in that process. Render performance doesn't matter for the config process. But render performance very much does matter for face tracking. Because poorer render performance means poorer tracking performance, because the renderer thread will hang and block the tracking from progressing, which is not good. So that is what got me to that open source project. And the open source project that I forked, the original project is called Rusty Bridge. The fork I based my version on is called Sandoichi Bridge. Sandoichi Bridge is from, like, it was last updated in November of last year, and Rusty Bridge was last updated like 3 years ago. So I consider both of the projects kind of stale at this point. Sandoichi Bridge also doesn't have support for anything other than Windows, because the UI component of Sandoichi Bridge was written with a Rust library that doesn't work on anything other than Windows. But that's an easy fix, because now we are not using a proprietary app, we are using open source. So you know what I did? I just wrote my own UI for it. I just replaced it with a cross-platform UI. And I do want to add some features to it, because Rusty Bridge is very bare bones. It's essentially just you point it at your phone,
All right.
and you tell it if you're using iFacial mocap or VTube Studio on the phone for face tracking. And that's it. It doesn't give you any UI customization. You can customize the way the parameters work, because that's just a file that has that in there. With a text editor, you can edit it, but I want to give it like a nicer UI. I want to give it all of the features that VBridger has. Because at that point, it's just gonna exist as a VBridger alternative, and honestly, I don't care about running someone out of business with an open source alternative that does everything their software does. It's your fault for not making it open source. And like the first improvement I want to make is Vitamins has an actual configuration file format. And someone out there has made a reverse engineering of VBridge's parameter manipulation for Vitamins. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to make the open source app compatible with Vitamins config format, so that you can just load those. To make migration easier. And then I'm going to most likely bundle, with permission, of course, that configuration file that that person wrote with the app as the default settings. And then there's a couple of things I want to implement. VBridger has a preview model loaded. So I want to add that. I'll probably just implement the Rust version of the Live2D SDK. Because the nice thing about Rust is that most Rust libraries are actually cross-platform. As long as you don't depend on anything platform-specific, it's cross-platform by nature. Because it's actually harder to make a native Rust library that's not cross-platform. Because the people who made Rust, like all of the developers of all of the like basic packages for Rust have made all of them cross-platform. And at the point where I am with implementation, I'm basically just using them. So you get a lot of cross-platform stuff out of the box. You just need to use the right base package. And there's really high-quality stuff in that language. Rust is great. I love Rust. It's my favorite programming language. But yeah, that's what I made. I'm gonna put it out there, and then it's just gonna exist. And then if someone wants a feature, they can just put it in themselves. Obviously, I'm not going to spend a lot of time, like refining the app after the point where it gets to where I want it to be. I might throw it into my Patreon and be like, hey, if you want me to improve this app, give me money. Or do it yourself. That's the main reason why my my Foundry modules are open source, so I don't have to do every improvement myself. But with the user base, it actually did shake out like, okay, I do have to do all of my things myself. But if it does prove like that enough people want this app, I might actually consider paying for the required stuff so I can get it notarized and put on the App Store. Or on Steam. Because, to put an app on Steam or on the Mac App Store, you need to pay for the Apple developer license thingy. And that's 100 euros a year. But for those 100 euros a year, you get like unlimited everything. You don't need to pay for like every individual notarization. The license is valid for the entire Apple ecosystem, so it also works for iOS apps and iPad apps and shit like that. And putting apps on the App Store is free. The only thing that they still charge you for is if you have microtransactions in your app. That they want the like 30% after transaction fees or whatever. Which is survivable. I'm pointing that out because that's not the case for everything.
I owe you.
Like I want you to know that. Putting apps on a store is not free for every store. I think the stupidest one that I know about is probably the PlayStation Network. Because putting a paid game on PSN is free. But putting a free game on PSN costs money. That is why most games on PlayStation cost like 3 euros or something. Even if the PC version of the game is free to play. Because if your game is free, you pay for everyone who adds it to your library. Like, Sony charges you like €1 per customer when they add your free game to your to the library. But if the game's like $2, it doesn't cost you anything. Stupid. As a Warframe on PlayStation isn't free. And is like 10 buckaroos or $5, something like that. It's a very stupid system. And then other app stores charge you per release. There is other issues with Apple. Like they aren't perfect. It does happen that your app update kind of gets stuck in notarization limbo. Apple isn't good sometimes. And it can take ages for an update to release. If the notarization is going particularly poor. But yeah. And then obviously for Linux, it's just make the bundle and get it into the repository, or make a flat pack, whatever. Make a flat pack, that'll figure it out. Make a signing key. Linux releases are basically free. And for Steam, it's just the $100 up front to list your app on the Steam store. I don't know how Steam handles free apps. I know that so Steam charges you $100 to put anything on the store with no quality control. But they also give you the $100 back if you make, I think, 1,000 or 10,000. A specific amount of money. That's when they give you the money you pay to list your game back. They refund it. So it's not really a fee as much as it is it is a bet. You're betting €100 or $100 against Gaben that your game won't sell like 10,000, like what is it for $1,000 at, say, like a $5 game? That would be like, what, 200 copies? If the game is at all good, it's basically impossible that it won't sell like 200 or even 2,000 copies. It's literally just you're betting with Gaben that your game is good. And if you're right, then your game is on Steam for free, other than the transaction fees. And if you're wrong, Gaben gets to keep your $100. It's a pretty good situation because it does keep most slop off the platform. Like, there's low quality games on Steam for sure, but there's no, like, straight garbage. There's nothing on there that I would say is, like, completely bullshit. Some things get close, though. Watch all of my crafting choices disappear as soon as I make this. Yep. Ah, that's annoying. Could have priced that out differently. Well. But yeah, so if there's enough users, I might consider getting the Apple subscription. I have a couple of other apps that would also definitely profit from being able to be notarized and put on the App Store. And the nice thing is, if you're not intending to release on the App Store, like, if I was just releasing my app through, say, GitHub, I could just put my notarization key into a GitHub secret and actually have my my build automation that makes the app from the code also send it to Apple servers for notarization. Because the review, the like, oh, we need to see if your app meets guidelines, that part only that the one that might take ages sometimes from Apple, that only applies if you want to put it on the App Store. The basic, like, does this app contain any harmful code? Is it a virus? That process is completely automated, takes like maybe 5 minutes with no human intervention at all. And it'll just return the signing certificate from the server. So you can do this just in the same process that makes your app bundle. A couple of apps I'm using actually are just GitHub releases with no official app store build. It's pretty nice. And that is something you also get on those $100. So yeah. Oh, I can turn in a quest over there. Oh, I'm done with the Poogie hunt. I've found 30 Poogies. 30 of them. Yeah. So I'm working on that. I want to get it to a point where it's like really good. I know there is like something... There's some criticism I will probably face for this idea. Because I'm essentially making a free open source competitor to a paid product. And that always feels a bit weird, especially if you are in a space like this where it's not a like big company, it's just like one person that I would be potentially running out of business. But yeah. I believe in open source. I like open source. But this kind of thing is also why a lot of people are like why a lot of companies are no longer really selling the product as much as they are selling support for the product. Because we do now live in a world where literally everyone can make a competitor to your cash cow with enough work. And it is kind of less profitable now to make to try to win on features as it is to try to win on ecosystem. Yeah. Like that's what Microsoft is doing. Microsoft realizes that it's pretty easy to make an app that is like Word. But Microsoft's winning on ecosystem integration. The reason why every company in the world uses Microsoft's Office stack is because how easy it is to integrate it with everything. Not because, like, Microsoft Word is the killer app of all time. Which, like, let's be real, it isn't. Yeah. But I do have the same qualms about, like, Foundry has, like, actually just one really prolific module developer who paywalls most of his modules. Only a very select few of them are free. And I've been thinking of making open source versions of a lot of his modules. Starting basically as feature clones, but with a different, like, core design. But I've not really done a lot of work on that, because that also feels like... eh. Though, to be honest, I don't think these modules that I would be cloning are, like, his core business. they are just kind of value adds for the module subscription. It's like you get the one you're really paying for, and then you get these 50 other small modules that are also nice. But yeah, I don't know. It feels... If I was competing with a big company, it would feel better than if I was competing with, like, some guy.
All right.
You know? Yeah. It's difficult. It's one thing to make something for personal use, and it's another thing to, like, make publish a product that,
What's this?
in theory, might actively attack someone else's livelihood. And then there's another conflict I have there, which is because I'm not charging for my modules, I actually don't really make money off of them. And it's really hard for me to sustain my efforts. And I do get specifically why that Foundry module developer is selling all of those little modules instead of just giving them away for free. Because my user base is really slim right now. I'm sitting in the Venn diagram of people who want interactive tabletop RPG streams using specifically Foundry VTT, which isn't like the biggest user base. But I do get like a solid 500 downloads for each update of OBS utils that I push. So I do have some user base, even if those downloads might be duplicates. I can't see in how many distinct Foundry installations it is. I can just see the download number. Because I'm just getting how many times has this file been downloaded from GitHub. From the GitHub file statistics. I'm not monitoring what people do with my module. I just look at how many times someone has downloaded the file. But I can still estimate that, say, like, maybe 200 of those are, like, individual people downloading the module, maybe even more. I don't know how high the re-download quota is for these. And, like, 3 of them are paying me. 3 users. I have, even if we assume, like, worst case scenario, where it's like 200, maybe 100 actual users, I have like a paid conversion rate of 3%. Or like the worst case scenario for individual users. If we assume the worst case scenario for conversion rate, and that's 500 actual users, I have a paid conversion rate of 0.3% of my user base. Which, if I had a user base of 100,000 people, that'd be fine. But the way I'm doing it right now, I either need to increase my user base or stop giving stuff away for free if I want to live off of module development. Or just development in general. And that sucks. Because, yeah, I do get that a lot of people who are in this space are like amateur streamers that are not making a lot of money off of it. But it also does feel a bit unfair, to me. That the only way I could turn this into a legitimate business is by not doing what I believe in. And that sucks. And I don't want to do the Wikipedia thing either, where I put a banner once per year that's like, please donate to keep these modules existing. Fact aside that the Wikipedia one is a scam. And I don't actually need the donation money. But that's a different problem. They do need it, but not as, like, critically as the banner would make it seem. There's a bit of controversy there about that donation banner, because they make it sound like without reaching that monetary goal, Wikipedia would stop existing. But people have noticed that every time the monetary goal is close to being met, the number goes up. Which is a bit weird. Like, if you are a non-profit that's trying to just keep existing for another year, why does the donation goal change every time the bar is getting close to it? What's going on here? Sus. But yeah. I'm still gonna make the thing, even just for myself. I think that, especially with how Windows is shaping up right now, just any option for native Linux and native Mac-based face tracking is a good thing. And if neither of the paid solutions are willing to provide it, nobody can fault me for making it. It's just that my version is also going to be able to run... Oh, hello. Pink Rathian. Is also going to be able to run on Windows, where the quote-unquote competition is. Also, with this project, if I do put my Patreon on there, maybe I get more supporters for my other stuff. That'd be nice. I would love to get an actual user base that has willing supporters in it. Because the main reason my conversion rate to paying users is so low is because most of them don't make money. And obviously, if you don't make anything, you're not willing to pay someone. Rathian is speed type. Speed and then... Yeah.
Let's go. Over here.
Ah, no stun. Sad. Yep.
Watch out.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that poison is strong. Ah, shit. Just immediately Burning Fang. Charge.
I'll take it. All right.
Whee! It's not optimal. I think I'm gonna go back to Doggo, actually. My Doggo is actually very well designed. It can meet 2 out of 3 attack types. If I could get a another action onto it, that'd be great. Uh-oh. Yeah, I've been working on that.
I won't give up.
And I do know there's for sure people who wanna
Nice one.
switch away from Windows and would appreciate F.
Okay.
The thing I'm making. And then ow.
What's your chance? This'll do it. We've got this. Let's calm down.
Just calm down, you say.
Counting on you. Got him.
Wee.
Nice job.
I'm about to fucking die. Okay, that's broken. So
Let's go. Thank you.
ow.
No.
Oh damn.
Watch out.
Come on, use your freaking move already.
I'll survive.
Thank you.
I've got this. Good one.
There we go. Defeat. We have unlocked feet. I mean,
Nice job. That's done.
all right, let's go back to this place. Do, 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 do. Oh. Child. Ooh. Super rare. Down or up? Shit.
We've got the upper hand.
Aurora Somnacanth. It's a variant. Oh. Oh, you're weak to fire. How lovely.
Counting on you. Over here.
Phew.
Are you okay?
Whoa. Behaving strangely, you say? Pew!
They're open.
Oh, there's darkness now too. And poison. Oh no. It has everything. Gonna go with sleep coating then. Oh, F. The music is so good. You know, this is the first time in a long while where I've just been able to enjoy a game. And not felt the need to rush through the main story.
Now. You okay?
I really like this. Ow.
They're open.
Nice.
Okay. Let's calm down.
Nah.
Great.
I picked the wrong attack type.
Keep pushing.
Ow.
Watch out.
Yeah. We are just doubling.
Come on.
Double kinship poggers.
I'll give it my all.
Whoa! Oh, the weakness bonus. It's an ice type, so it's doubly weak to fire. That's super cool. Do we get the flea? Nah, sad. That one's actually pretty cool, no pun intended. Okay, let's figure out where that rare place is, huh? The rare den. It's not up there. Oh, it's back. Huh. Where the heck is it? It could be up there. It is. Hello. I literally just collected some stones. Huh. Bone. What do we get? Meh. 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 Ah, got stuck with the Giangaruga. Sad.
All right. Go.
Boop. Hello. No, 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 no. On your door. What is in here? Oh, an egg I don't have yet. Okay, you're coming. You're joining me. Do, 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 do. I wanted to talk about something. Right. I saw that, for the vegans out there, I saw that the prices for Seitan have been going up. Which is crazy. That shit's expensive now, and I don't know why. Because you can just make it yourself. Seitan, it's a gluten-derived, it's kind of like tofu, but wheat, so gluten instead of soy. It's one of those vegan but not created by veganism things. It's spelled S-A-I-T-A-N. Seitan. Seitan is, you can make it yourself. All that Seitan is basically pure gluten and water. You can buy pure gluten in wholesale bags, or you could buy flour and go through the excruciating process of manually washing the starch out, which I can't recommend.
We've got the upper hand.
But yeah, in Germany, pure gluten is usually called Weizenkleber, which is wheat glue. That's the name you'll find it under in the store.
Over here.
Or online. And you can get it for like 4 euros per kilo,
They're open.
which is really good. Like you can get 2.5 kilo bags for like $10. And then all you need is equal amounts water and solid material. And what you can do with it too is you can put like seasoning in it. Seitan is very seasonable. Like anything you could put on into a salad or on meat works in Seitan. You can put like Turkish blends in it to make like vegan döner. That's a video about that specifically is what got me onto the topic today, because I watched one where someone does exactly that. Make vegan döner by like from scratch. So what you do is you, like, if you add more solid material to the mix, obviously you need to add more water. And if you add any liquids for flavor, which you can also do, then you need to add less water. What you want to do, what you want to have at the end is about a 50-50, like an equal parts mixture between water and solids. You should be aware that depending on what spices you add, that might alter the consistency slightly. But it is generally fine. What you then do with the mixture is you knead it into a dough. I think it needs to rest for a bit, but I don't quite remember the details on that. And then this dough gets steamed. You can either tear it apart before steaming to make little like little like bite-sized bits, or you can steam it as a block, which will take longer for it to cook through. But if you've steamed it as like a blob of dough, you can then cut it into stripes, which works better for like specifically vegan döner. And you get like basically just weight equivalent of meat out of it. So 400 grams of seitan actually give you like about the same amount of material and the same amount of protein actually. Or not same amount, but similar amount of macros too, compared to like compressed meat type shit. You know, the stuff that's not legally allowed to be labeled a döner in Germany? It's really easy to make this. But for some reason, if you buy, like, a lot of vegan substitute products are just seitan. Especially vegan kebab meat is going to be just that. Because that's not the interesting part about food tech. Those things have existed for years. Or, like, not years, for, like, centuries at this point. Maybe even millennia. But they charge more for it now. Probably some sort of vegan tax situation going on. Like, oh, this says vegan. Surely it must be more expensive because it is harder to make than the animal product. Silly. Silly thought. Yeah, seitan has been around for, like, thousands of years. And it's pretty good. It's not a meat substitute. It's not trying to taste like meat. But it is pretty good. And you can make a lot of the same dishes with it that you can with meat. If you want to. It's in the same category as tofu. Where you're going to get a very different taste to the meat dish. But you're still getting, like, a dish. Let me just pull up the macronutrients. I don't want to mislead you. Seitan macros. Oh, it's an E instead of an A, sorry. S-E-I-T-A-N. Yeah, so seitan has 25 to 30 grams of protein. Depending on how you make it, it's going to be between 3 and 14 grams of carbohydrates, and then 1 to 4 grams of fat. And the reason why it has so much more protein than, say, a loaf of bread is because the main the main weight and the main carb source of wheat-based products is the starch. And seitan is specifically made from de-starched flour. So you're losing all of the carbohydrate content of the flour in the process of making this. which makes it an incredibly high protein food, because after that, basically only gluten and protein and plant protein is going to be left over in the dish. You can add more fats by, you know, just frying it in oil, and stuff like that. And you can add more carbohydrates by adding bread to the dish you're making with it. You should just, essentially, you should just treat it like animal-derived protein for cooking with it. And it can also actually be fried. It behaves ironically similarly to meat. It is steamed, but you can then fry it in a pan, just like slices of beef or whatever. It's not identical. There's also a third one that isn't often talked about, which is called tempeh. Tempeh is also soy-derived, though, and I don't think you can make that at home. Though I think of all of them, the one that would be the hardest to make at home would be tofu. Because tofu is fermented, which just takes forever. But also, luckily, tofu is pretty cheap. Just maybe go buy it at an Asian supermarket. And tofu doesn't really have a taste unless you buy flavored tofu. So you can make anything you want with it. You can fry it, you can grill it, you can cut it into cubes. It will amazingly take on basically the flavor of everything you put it in, sauce-wise. You can marinate tofu pretty easily to add flavor to it. People who say that tofu doesn't taste good either had bad flavored tofu from the store, or are just too stupid to make tofu. Because if the tofu tastes bad, that's on you. It barely tastes of anything on its own. But yeah, most of these dishes come from the Asian realm. I don't actually know why that is. I don't know the cultural history there. That is something I might look into when I'm bored. Because I'd be interested, like, why are so many of these products from that area? What made the people of Asia cultivate soy and stuff like that? It could be two reasons. It could be religious reasons, that just religions prevalent in that area do not allow you to consume meat. Or it could be scarcity reasons. That meat just wasn't as available to the common person. And that created a pressure to be creative with the resources given. And for European dishes in that area, it's definitely the second. No European religion really banned the consumption of meat, ever. Outside of fasting period, but that's for a different reason. European dishes that are, like, plant-derived were made because farmers didn't really have access to a lot of meat. Like, peasants didn't have a lot of have access to a lot of meat. Yeah, I know that a lot of meats that are available in Asia are not the tastiest. And a lot of animals only crossed over after the Silk Road opened, where you would be able to get like European farm animals. A similar reason for American, American native cuisine, by the way. The Americas don't really have domesticatable animals. So most of your meat would come from hunting, which means it's an unreliable food supply. So even with primitive agriculture, there would be like environmental pressure to make a lot of plant-derived dishes. And Europe was just kind of in the position to have very domesticatable animals like swine and cows, like bovines. Bovines are very domesticatable. Swine are very domesticatable. But buffalo, for instance, aren't. Buffalo is basically an undomesticatable animal. If it was domesticatable, they would be. And they aren't. So, animal husbandry is very much a European thing. Because Europe just started with the home advantage of having a lot of domesticatable species. This is also why Europe had so many severe devastating plagues, by the way. Because most plagues start as animal disease, that because of the closeness between animal and humans in animal husbandry, are more likely to mutate into a human-compatible form. Animal husbandry is a health risk. Just by nature. Yep. Especially so if sanitary practices are unevolved, by the way. So don't take animal as your husband? Yes. I don't know why it's called husbandry. Weird etymology there. Is husband named after husbandry, or is husbandry named after husband? Or is it just a coincidence that the etymology lines up? I'm Googling this. I want to know. Husbandry etymology. The origins of the word husband go back to the Old Norse. Hus means house, and bondi is, according to different sources, either the tiller of the soil or the dweller. So a husband would be the tiller, dweller of the house, to be interpreted as master of the house. It logically follows that in animal husbandry, it refers to the mastering over an animal or flock. I kind of feel bad today when I hear the casual usage of the word husband. Thank you, thank you, Reddit user deleted from r/etymology. Incidentally, in Hebrew, the word for husband is Baal, which means owner. Wife is simply Isha, meaning woman. The owner and the woman. Of course, among the plebes, people don't think about it twice. It's the word for owner and the word for husband, so what? It's not as if such words have subconscious influence over people's perception of the world. Nah, okay. So this person is very on the, on the etymological, very much in the etymological misogyny department. It's I mean, it's not wrong. It's not wrong that words having similar origins, especially like in Hebrew, reinforce social stereotypes and social structures. But the way they're putting this, I'm skipping over part of the post. The way they're putting this is very much like, oh, it's the language's fault that it is this way around, and it's not what it is in reality. It's like the culture shapes the language, and then the language shapes the culture. It's a two-way street. And you can't really change one without changing the other. It needs to be in lockstep. You can make an improvement on the culture, and then an improvement on the language, and then another improvement on the culture, and then another improvement on the language. Although the one on the language is going to be less conscious. Words just fall out of practice because their meaning doesn't line up with what you want to say anymore. It's not so much that banning a word will automatically make the social issues that formed it go away. Because that would mean language is prescriptive, which it isn't. It's not the direction this works. Unfortunately, it would be great. It would be great that if you could make inequality issues go away by just talking about things differently. However, that is unfortunately not how it works. You need to pull on both ends for things to change.
Be careful.
Language is prescriptive. No, it's descriptive.
Hey.
It's describing the thing that you're getting.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Please. Your Highness! Well,
Whee! Yippee! Yeah. There is still linguists that believe that language is prescriptive. And that kind of baffles me. But there's also linguists that are so deep in the other camp that they kind of do miss the very real effect that language has on its environment. As I said, the similarities in the words aren't what caused the societal issues, but they for sure lower the awareness. Because as the Reddit post said, like, people don't really think twice about why two words are the same. And even if the subconscious effect is minuscule, which I would argue it is, it's still some amount of effect. It definitely doesn't help the case that the words are the same. Oh boy. Bear! I'm out of here. We're back at language discussion, chat. My favorite topic.
all right.
A different story is neologisms. I hope I pronounced that right for English. I don't actually know the proper pronunciation of that word. But like creating new words. a lot of modern discussion about gender is shaped by like teenagers on Tumblr back in 2010 era, just finding the existing words to describe the experience inadequate and just making up a lot of terms to be able to talk about their lived experience. And that, however, is very valuable because it gives you the tools to express your experience in clearer, more understandable language. And that's very good. But also, because most of this work was done by kids, a lot of the language is hard to comprehend.
Careful.
And definitions are... Eh. Eh. And that, especially for this purpose, makes it a bit unsuitable. Because you don't want ambiguity when you're talking about something so personal. And then there's the other issue of it being basically untranslatable. Not as much the new words for describing identity, because those weren't in English in the first place. They are all just Latin or Greek. And also not really the like very niche applications like atypical genders. There's stuff like xenogender. Which those do translate because they're just words to smushed together. But a lot of the, especially pronoun-centric language doesn't translate well. There's an issue that I'm struggling with as a German person. Because English is much more receptive to weird pronunciation. Because English is already a phonetically inconsistent language. So adding more words that are phonetically inconsistent doesn't really matter, because English is already a language that is composed of various, various phonetic roots. There's words that are German-derived, that have vowel shifted, yes, and lost some consonants, but are very much retaining most of the German pronunciation. And then there is words that are French pronounced, that have, again, vowel shifted, and in some cases lost some sounds or gained some sounds, but they kind of keep the the French pronunciation. But German, unfortunately, doesn't have this luxury. And trying to add a new pronoun to German is really difficult, because not only does it need to be a short word that doesn't already mean something, which there is precious few of, it also needs to work phonetically with the rest of the language. In English, if you make a pronunciation mistake, that's just a funny accent. to German speakers, it is much more noticeable. Because it clashes more. There's a lot more expectations. In German. About... Despite German not encoding any information in the melody, not any semantic information. Like it's not like Chinese where the pitch matters. Or like I forget, but there's also languages where the stress matters. Japanese is kind of one of them. We don't really have stress accents or pitch accents in German. Not even for word separation, which is what it does in Japanese. In part. German uses stops, just like English. We just stop talking. You insert a pause in your stream of sounds to signal the change between words. That's a stop. And different varieties of German also have different kinds of stops. Something I've learned recently. There is a type of stop that's called a glottal stop. And most German accents, like most German dialects have it. But Swiss German doesn't. And you don't really hear it if you speak German, because it's so, like, central to how you enunciate things. But I can demo it for you. So in regular German, you would say ein Auto. And in Swiss German, you would say ein Auto. And that subtle stop in ein Auto compared to ein Auto is a glottal stop. But it's still mutually comprehensible. So we don't really encode meaning with this. I still said the same thing both times, and anyone who speaks German in the chat will have understood me both times. But there's still expectation of how the phrase is supposed to be enunciated. And that is what makes it so difficult for me to find a neopronoun in German that I like. Because most German neos, if not all of them, all of the ones I've tried, violate the enunciation and melodic expectations of the language. They don't fit. They feel wrong in the place you put them in. And that's not a criticism of people trying to make neopronouns. I appreciate the effort. But I think it's also a symptom of most queer communities being online. Where's this Poogie? Oh, I bet it's a hidden Poogie on one of the stumps. Because it's a lot easier to make a new word that you read than it is to make a new word that you say. There's some English neos that have that issue as well, because they were once again made on Tumblr. And then people wanted to actually use them for themselves, and then came the issue of, wait, how do you pronounce this actually? Like, there's an X in it. How do you say this? Oh, come on. And then with the added issue of, for some of them, the intended pronunciation being quite close, quite similar. So they add ambiguity back in as soon as they're not written. And that just kind of, I mean, that just kind of naturally happens if the community you're in is... Yeah, it was hidden. Okay. Is mostly online and mostly communicating in writing. Because all of these only fail when you take them to spoken language. They are perfectly distinguishable and serviceable and fine until you try to say them. And then they fall apart. And that's sad. But yeah, mind-blowing stuff. Make a local IRL queer communities, yeah. Exactly. Try to figure this shit out, not just in writing. Organize. Band together. Or even just like, I mean, yeah, it's difficult for trans, but, you know, voice chat online communities. I mean, yeah, for sure unionize. I'm not in a union. Is there an IT union? I wonder if, any of my coworkers are in a union. Because I don't even know if there is a union for my...
All right.
my line of work. I could ask. I could just ask my coworkers, like, hey, are you in a union? And then they would tell me. Isn't that nice? I want that rock.
What's this?
Once again, mind-blowing.
Hey. Hey.
I've heard a sentiment about unions that I found interesting in the way it was phrased. Because it was like... I'm not against unions, but I would see it as a personal failing. If my workers unionized, my employees unionized. I just found that sentiment interesting. Because it addresses like part of what unions are for. And I do agree that if your workers unionize over mistreatment or bad wages, that would be a failing on the part of the manager. But it does kind of fail to see that unions are for other things too. It was said by a Canadian, not a not a USA person.
Please.
So yes, it was said by an American.
What'll it be?
Yeah. That's what I mean by, like, I do get the sentiment that, yeah, you would be failing as a boss if your workers felt like they needed to unionize. But you're also failing to see that unions aren't just about that one workplace that you're currently at. And that is, I think, in part because most American unions are workplace unions. They don't really have a lot of, like, industry-wide unions like we do. Over there. Because in Germany we have the IG Metall and stuff like that, which are an industry-wide union. They are open to anyone working in the metalworking industry. Any metal worker can join them. And they also do negotiation with every employer in the... They are kind of like the SAG-AFTRA. I think the SAG-AFTRA is one of the few unions that is similar to how unions are in Germany, where most American unions are workplace specific. And I think that is why that Canadian kind of didn't see the other benefits of unionization. Because it isn't just about where you work right now, but it's about where you work right now, where you will work if you don't work there anymore, and the lives and the rights of everyone who works in the same industry as you. By joining a union, you're not only giving your voice to you and your coworkers, but to everyone who works in the same field as you do. You make everyone's life better. Because by joining the union, you give them more power to negotiate better deals in the companies that mistreat their employees. That is the real benefit of a union. And also, a lot of unions, at least in Germany, give you, like, services you can contact, like, for legal issues. If there's problems, they can support you. You have a sort of, like, representative you can talk to about problems and stuff. It's very nice. That is why we like it so much in Germany. Unionization helps with a lot of things. But also, obviously, if companies were to allow unionization in the capacity that we have it here, it would also definitely put a lot of pressure on them. Which is why there is so much lobbying against it in those parts of the world. Because, yeah, having to treat your workers right is obviously an inconvenience for capitalist organization. And anyone whose goal it is to maximize profits at all cost would oppose this. So, obviously, unions are much less than they could be in the country of unfettered capitalism hellscape. Makes sense why a person growing up there would not understand. Even if it's not in the US, Canada is close enough to the US to get a lot of the cultural and ecological fallout, economical fallout from their neighbor. To at least have a skewed perspective on the topic. So I get why that sentiment would come up. And you do too, clearly, because you asked if an American said this. No, unions are great. You should do them. I have 28,000 of this shit. Okay. That's crazy. I also have a lot of the other items. I've been basically just grinding for a stream and a half. I think I'm gonna go look at story now. As much fun as grinding has been. Oh, there's so many gold. Whatever. Oh, right, I did want to look at one thing that I forgot last time, because Venrit was here and he told me how I could figure out how to get mutations. Unknown Yangaruga. Yangaruga's ecosystem rank is S. This mutation is said to occur in habitats where many ferocious monsters reside. Resides in habitats containing 3 or more monsters of equal or greater rank than the Yangaruga. Oh, interesting. So yeah, so there's mutations like Pink Rathian and Red Queen Rathian. And if there is a mutation available for that species, the species will have a question mark in its list. That is what Venra told me. So if I want the Yangaruga mutations, I need to get Yangaruga to S, and I need to get it in an area with 3 or more monsters of equal or greater rank that has many ferocious monsters, which I don't know if that's the same hint. But yeah, so that's how you unlock these. And they do take slots in the ecosystem when they get unlocked. Like, let me show you what I mean. If I go here and I go to habitat restoration, you have kind of in a way, I can see it well enough. Like, you have these 5 pillars next to me, and those are the 5 species that naturally occur in this area. And then behind me, there's a box that's the same size, and if I release a species into it that isn't native to the area, like if I would release a Royal Ludroth, then that would that would appear on the right there. And if you get a mutation, like I did here, oh no, that's really hard to see. I was gonna go over here. Hello. The Rathian variants are taking up slots in the restoration slots. So getting a mutation in an area, it will take up slots there. That is just something I need to keep in mind. There's also a type I haven't found here. And there is an area where I still need to kill the feral to do ecosystem shenanigans in there. I could release my fish surplus into this area. There's only one fish surplus, okay. Oh, but I could also release the Ludroth copies that I don't need. What this does is it increases the ecosystem rank. And that means when I find a new egg for that species, it's going to be at a higher rank. That's what that does. I could do Kutku in this area as well. But I don't have a second one. Then this is the one where the Paolumu is a native, but I would need to kill the enemy there. Do I have anything interesting to release here? I do have a leftover purple Ludroth I could put in here. Because I think I had 2 of them. Yes, I did have 2. I'm keeping you. And do have a leftover bear. And a couple Bishaten that I could release at least one of. I only have the one of that species. I only need one Bishaten, but I have one named Bish and one named Please, and I want to keep both. Because that's funny. Oh, this one has interesting moves on it. Whatever. Whee! So it is very much a game mechanic to overgrind Monsties and then release them somewhere. Do I have... I do not have the Angaruga habitat. Okay. Oh, there's a creature in the crystal caves that I've not found an egg for. I wonder what that is. And then the reason you want to increase this is because it also means, like, you can get better egg powers. If you send an S-tier Monstie on an expedition to an area, it gets all 3 of the learnables above me. And a C-tier gets nothing. And then A-tier gets 2 of them, and then the B-tier just gets the B one. I don't like that you can't, you can't really, upgrade the rank of a monster you already have.
Hi. Thank you.
That's a bit annoying. I wish you could. That'd be nice. Because that means I do need to eventually rotate out my Monsties that aren't S rank. And that's a bit sad. But yeah. Anyway, let's continue the main story, shall we? But you can kind of remake your Monstie with the better stats. Because you can now transfer abilities without destroying the Monstie like in the previous 2 games.
Okay.
You had to literally put your Monstie in the grinder to skill transfer in Monster Hunter Stories 2. Which, as you could imagine, has upset a couple of players. How do I... Huh? What? What? Yeet. Ah. Bonk. 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 I should switch my equipment. I want to go back to neutral damage. This one's still pretty good, even though it doesn't have a slot. I could try, but those are also all bad. Nah. What do you have on you? I want... specific melody skills. Yeah, okay, that's fine. We can take the Lumu horn. And then for this one... Sure, why not? And then we can put... defensive on here. And then we can put... this on... give it... oh, this one not. Then this one gets quick shot, rapid shot. Pet. Just storing this over here. Oh, hello.
We've got the upper hand.
This area I don't one-shot things anymore. What weakness do you have? Okay. Bow is great.
Now's our chance.
Bonk. So the the gray circle damage type is just non-element damage. Most monsters don't resist it, but also monsters aren't typically weak to it. Yay, Fruit Frenzy.
Watch out!
I'll just keep attacking that part. Snow thingy is a speed attack down there.
We'll do it.
Flash Fruit is a tech move, I think. Speed 2. Okay. No, doggy! Bonk. Ah. Nice. Another Flash Fruit. Gonna pump aerial aim into this. No! Whee!
Don't push yourself.
Ah, it hit. No!
Over here.
Yay! Ah! Ow! Rude! How does Kara get
Okay.
more kinship gauge than I do? That's so rude.
Down.
Oh, woo!
I won.
Let's go.
All right. Keep it up.
Oh, this sword is kind of mid. I need to switch it.
Now. Come on, everyone.
The damage is great, but it doesn't have a single target skill. And I can't equip one until it's level 3.
We showed them.
Or tier 3 or whatever.
Did it.
Different sword it is. Oh, it's retreating.
Job.
That's crazy.
That's done.
Retreating here. Okay.
Hey!
Retreat then. Eggy. Eggy. Bing.
All right.
Ta-da.
Go.
Okay, different sword. Oh, the numbers are so nice on it though. Fine. We're going to this one then. Poogie. Yay. Yahaha.
All right.
Oh, that one I'm allowed to one-shot. Okay. Then, what might be in here? Oh, sure. Just grabbing an egg on the way. Do, 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 do. Doobie 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 da.
All right. Go.
Hmm. Bird.
We've got the upper hand.
Bird. I don't remember what a type bird is.
Do it.
Wee.
You did it.
I think charging might not give kinship. Yeah, doesn't. Bird type. Ah. Thank you. Ow!
All right.
It just exploded. What type were you again? Okay, this state is strength. Bomb!
Let's go. Thanks.
Yeah. Ow. Yeah, perfect.
Don't push yourself. Thank you.
Whee!
Now.
Come on, paralysis. Do it. Ah, sad. No. I just love that her monster is called Gravy. That is so cute.
Lie down.
Bonk! Whee!
Now's our chance! Now's your chance! Keep pushing!
Go! Oh. Pretty good.
How about this? Watch out! Keep pushing! Hoorah! Come on!
Whee!
See what we can do?
Die. Yes.
All right!
More egg.
Nice job! Whew, that's done.
I don't even have the thing equipped that makes the retreat rate go up. That's crazy.
Oh,
Do retreat nests always have 2 spots? Or am I just insanely lucky? Yes, I do want this egg. Ta-da! I wonder if I'm leaving XP on the table by doing it this way. But it's only 100, so I don't think it matters. Because you get 100 XP for bringing an egg to the exit. But if you do it this way, you bring 2 eggs and you get the pop-up once. Oh no, you do get it twice. Oh, I never noticed. Okay, it's up there. What in the how? Another. Not really interested in fighting you right now. Ah, shit.
Got the upper hand!
No, I don't wanna. Oh, I could have one-shot it. Okay, hold on. It's just because I hadn't defeated it yet, I think. No! Come on. Yes! Rare egg. Reg even. No, that's not what I'm here for. But I seem to have slim pickings today. Sure. I'm so sad that this area doesn't really have a lot of monsters that I like. I also haven't really tried out going around at night. They said there would be other monsters available at night. Haven't really tried that at all. The fact that these are enemies is so crazy to me. Oh, wait. Oh, hi. Ooh. Another one of those. I already defeated one of you once. Bonk.
This will do it!
Yeah. Bonk.
Are you okay?
The damage.
Watch out!
I don't remember.
Yeah.
Speed. Okay.
I'll take it. Yes.
Nice. Okay. Ah. Welp. Ow.
Now's our chance.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Break. Yay.
Nice one.
Oh, another break.
All right. Keep it up.
F.
Okay. Calm down.
Yeah.
Come on.
Overkill.
I'll give it my all.
Yippee.
Nice job.
One thing I have to say that annoys me a bit about the game design for this is that the kinship gauge is per Monstie. So your companions get it at least a few turns before you do. Oh, hello. No thank you. So, force of nature, huh? Oh, cool, vital essence. Thank you. Why are you giving me this? Hello.
Everyone, follow me.
I'm not detecting any forces of nature.
Is it the mountain? It is.
This is it. What the? An earthquake? Oh.
The living mountain, Yamatsukami.
Yamatsukami?
It's typically nomadic, drifting from place to place, but it's been lingering around this area for some time now.
Any idea why it's staying here?
I do not know, and yet, within the beast dwells anger, despair. These feelings poison the great mountain. What's more,
That's a
feelings
squid.
hate.
Let's go. We can handle it together.
Let's do this.
This monster. What's this?
Something's off. Huh? Somehow just sadness and pain. Oh no. Yamatsukami. That's an interesting design. I've not seen this before. We get to find out what type you are. Immediately. Power. Alright. It resists fire. Yippee. I picked the wrong companion. Why does it have human teeth? Ew. Ow. Ah, that doesn't look good. There's no targeting marker. That's never a good sign. Oh, its health bar is also gray. Our goal is to break. I'm saying the crystal is affecting it. Does it mean it's not actually feral? When we remove the crystallization, we might be able to figure out what's going on.
All right.
Okay. The health bar is gray. That means it can't take damage. Our goal is not to defeat it right now, but to either break specific parts or to just topple it.
Here we go.
That stunned it, okay. So that's the first thing done. Multi-break weaken transform sounds fantastic right now. She uses so many tools. Doggy. Okay, breaking parts stuns it. That's interesting. It's behaving strangely.
All right.
I bet it's tech now. Wait and see. Okay.
This will do it. Keep it up.
You missed. It's attacking her. We will see now if my assessment was correct. It's speed, okay.
Don't push yourself,
Whoa!
everyone.
Not good.
Hoorah! Come on. I can do it. This will
Bonk! One Dwarven Soul stock down. Oh, it's an Elder Dragon. Okay, I didn't realize. Depleting the Wyvern Soul stock will cause Elder Dragons to enter the exposed state. While in this state, Elder Dragons can only use normal attacks that have an attack type. Elder Dragons will become exposed for a few times when you stagger them, unlike when they are fatigued. The attacks are now easier to avoid, but you will be able to trigger a head-to-head by using certain skills. Ah. Ah, shit. Oof. The AoE. What the heck?
Are you okay?
Thank you. You okay?
That helps.
So speed type move, huh? Ow.
Let's do this. Watch out!
Life set, please.
Don't push yourself.
Thanks. Yeah.
No!
Uh-oh.
I won't give up.
It's open. Please have selected technical attacks. Good.
Take it. Yes.
I'm using a battle essence on myself. Stop! Oh. Yowie!
Ready?
Okay.
Yowie, yes.
Now's our chance.
As I planned.
Let's go!
No. Take
Rock! Oh, it's a cutscene fight. Oh.
Come on, everyone.
Fun. Ow.
This will do it.
Okay, can take one more like this.
Now.
Come on.
Nice job.
Yes. Yippee. Ah. Okay. Okay, that's fine.
I won.
Okay.
Come on.
Go.
Pretty good, right?
Excellent.
Yippee. Gauge depleted. Normal state, which means power attacks. Yes.
Got it. Great.
Woo!
How's this?
Oh, let's go. Power attack again. Do-do-do-do-do.
Got him.
Boom! And power attack again. She's using so many bombs. Chill, girl. Get stunned. It sure is. The maw is open. Ah, no, doggy. And I got stunned. Okay, right skill.
Nice one. Yes.
Bonk. And now she's riding too. Awesome. Ah. Ah, that'll hurt. Not me though. Let's go. That, however, will hurt me. But I won the head-to-head. Which is most of what matters. Huh? Ow! Yeah, F my kinship gauge. Oof.
I've got this. Got him.
Ah,
Everyone.
let's go!
I'm ready. All right.
Now we're cooking.
The hunting horn. Yippee!
You're finished.
Destroy Crystal. Boom! We broke it. Yippee! Now the story can continue.
To think the Stone Scourge would claim a Yamatsukami.
It tried to fly away but couldn't even take off.
Must have hurt like a son of a gun.
I'm just glad we figured out what was going on.
And it should be safe to roam this forest once again.
Is this what it means to defy your fate?
Perhaps.
Thank you. Not only did you save our fair village, but you've also changed the way we look at the world.
Oh.
How do you mean?
Simple. Up until now, we never once considered trying to defy our destiny. When nature opposed us, we thought it best to simply follow along and adapt accordingly. Even if it ultimately put us on the path to oblivion. But the moment the canine egg hatched, something changed within us.
Yes, the cutie egg.
And no one was happy. Our people can finally smile again, free of the menace of feral monsters. Finally defying our fate has cast a shining ray of hope over everyone's hearts.
I don't have the words to describe how much it means to have met you all. My sentiments exactly. You've shown us such tremendous kindness and taught us so much that we never would have known.
May blessings find you in multitudes on the road ahead. Please take this canine with you. It will act as your ward, protecting you from any perils that may cross your path.
We'll raise it well.
Till next we meet, by fate or by fortune.
Until then, take care of yourselves.
Time to hit the old dusty trail, yeah?
With me, everyone!
Wake up.
Huh? He's alive! Pog! I knew they wouldn't go through the trouble of making a kinship skill animation for him if he was to die. Why does he have scales? That's kinda hot. I mean, what? Wee. Yes. Very good.
Once we're through the muddled marsh, it's next stop, city.
The muddled marsh?
The what?
Yeah. The bog changes up its terrain, confusing anyone who enters, hence the name. There's no telling how many people have been sucked into that freaky swamp, never to be seen again.
Best not to set paw in there if you ask me. But skirting around would be the mother of all detours.
Sure
I'm
would.
just saying. If time is of the essence, we could do much worse.
You've never traversed the marsh either, right? It doesn't intimidate you?
In short, no and no. I'm an adventurer. This is what I do.
Must we go through such a colossal place?
Let's forge ahead. The sooner we're through, the better.
A ranger after my own heart.
As long as we keep our bearings, we should get through safe and sound. I hope.
Sounds like a plan. Now stay close, everyone. We're moving.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
Towns that got everything. Oh. I didn't bring anything that can swim. Can I switch party at that stand? I should bring a somnacanth or a fish. Is it somnacant or is it somnacanth?
Let's go!
Germans definitely can't, but I could imagine the English dub maybe calls it Somna can't. I already forgot because it was said one time before we battled the feral one. I'm just assuming that because I don't feel like they would put something in the dub that's pronounced very close to cunt. You know? Somna Emanuel.
All right.
Do. Whoops. Not quite what I wanted to do, but sure.
Is this the marsh at work?
That's a safe bet. Stay on your toes.
Oh. Oh no!
Princess, wake up! Please! Your Highness, you finally opened your eyes!
Rudy?
Are you alright? Where does it hurt? Tell me!
Really, I'm all right.
You most certainly aren't! I'll fetch a physician at once! Wait! There are no doctors in this wasteland!
Calm down, Rudy. I'm perfectly fine. But the others must be worried. Let's get back to them quick.
But...
I'm all right, really. Besides,
what is it?
just before we were swept away, I could swear I heard a monster. Suffice to say, you're not alone.
A monster?
Oh no!
Yeah.
We should hurry. There's nothing to be afraid of, Your Highness, because I've got your back.
Thanks.
Now let us away.
Let's give it our all.
Hello? I'm alone. speed type, huh?
Counting on you. Now's our chance.
Ah.
Watch out!
Barroth. Oh, come on.
Let's go.
Whee! Pew!
No.
Is it still in behaving strangely mode? It sure is. This will probably just thingy it, but... Okay, it's tech.
Nice job. Yeah.
It's tech type like this.
Counting on you. Classic.
Ding! Ow.
Down.
Calmed down, you say? This means it's... That means its type is back to normal. Which makes that a speed attack, which is easily countered. That, however, is not so easily countered. Help. Oh, thank fuck for stuns.
This'll do it.
Oh no, my DualSense! Not the battery of my DualSense wireless controller. I could ride.
Ready?
And then just kinship skill its ass.
Okay. See that? Wait, work.
Whee!
Counting on you. Got him.
Boom! I think with the mud on it just resists everything. I think that was how that worked. Ow. Ooh, it's so close. Ah!
Come on.
2 HP.
You did it! All right.
Whee! Barroth down.
You did it!
Retreating, Pog.
On to the next. Go! Huh? Right.
Oh, yo. Yippee! Barath egg, Barath egg. Barath is, I don't know where it's from. The first time I've seen it is in Monster Hunter World, but that's also the first Monster Hunter I played myself, so I might be older. And I just wouldn't know about it. Anjanath. Don't love any of this. Hi.
Got the upper hand.
All right.
That was a bit mean. Kind of a monster closet, not gonna lie.
Your Highness. My humblest apologies.
Where'd that come from?
My actions put you in danger. I must make amends.
Rudy, it's not your fault.
It is. It's my responsibility to protect you. I missed that monster completely. Your Highness, I have utterly failed to keep you safe. My family has served yours for generations. It's an honor to be in your service, my liege. I hope to prove indispensable during my tenure.
You may rise.
Sir!
Oh, I'm so cute. Look at me.
She has much to learn, both as royalty and as a rider. Do what you can to help her.
Help the princess?
We're counting on you.
Yes, sir! Salutations! My name is Rudy, and I have been charged as your Palico. It's nice to meet you.
Yippee.
You too.
That's so me. It's like, hello, you have met me in a hyper
Even if
focus.
it cost me my life. But I've let you down.
That's where you're wrong. Well, remember that time in the forest way back when we both got covered in mud?
Yes, I do remember that.
In those days, riding Ratha was the only thing that made me happy, but I guess I got a little carried away. I fell off of him and was knocked unconscious. By the time I came to, it was already night.
paralysis moment. Huggies.
Rudy, please, you're filthy. Do forgive me. Sorry, Your Highness.
If you hadn't saved us, Ratha and I never would have made it home. My father once told me, Rudy is a very special feline. Whenever you need him, he'll come to your aid.
Aw.
Said that?
Sure did. And he's right. You are special. It's not just Ratha. I had you by my side as well.
Princess.
Oh, it's so cute.
Okay. Your Highness!
That was kinda cute. I am warming up to Rudy. But he is very annoying sometimes. Oh, hello. You're new. I don't really want to do this without friends. What would I do if I don't have a ground dive? Hello? Do I have a barrel bomb? I do not. Yeah.
On to the next.
Could I make a barrel bomb? Not really. Alright. Alright, go on. There's a lot of bones here. Again, as much as I appreciate getting spheres, I need regular ore for a lot of the crafting recipes. What I'm talking about is those, what? Oh my god. Kuluyaku. Bird up. Stupid meme. Oh, hey, Pookie. Hello. Whee!
All right.
I do not have the technology to make a bomb. I am unable to become Bomba Luigi. Oh, shit. What the fuck?
Over here.
Hello? Thank you for your cooperation. These thingies, if they're blue, there's ore or rocks in them. But if they're red, that's a sphere. And the weapon and armor spheres are required for the last crafting step of each weapon and each armor. So I don't mind getting them. Oh, shit!
Let's give it our all. Let's go.
Hello, Anjanath. I don't mind getting them. But, I do need the other kind. And it's kind of 50-50 if the items spawning in a nest are red or blue. Because a lot of the crafting recipes just randomly have, like, specific ores in them. I don't mind the way that the crafting works in this game, by the way. It's pretty good. Like, you do have specific materials you need, but you don't actually need specific amounts of them. You just, like, one material per slot is worth 1 point. One material per slot is worth 2 points. And then the third material is worth 5 points, and you just need enough items that you reach the point threshold, which is pretty nice. That means if you have bad luck, but you got like 17,000 items, you can still make the thing.
What's this?
I would love to have a teammate.
And we're sure this is the right direction?
Yes, absolutely certain. Just follow me. I'll lead the way.
Are you alright?
Of course. Through confounding quagmires or across a stormy sea, you'll always find the proper path and guide Meowster to victory. That's my family's oft-repeated motto. Now, right this way.
Oh, it's cute.
Rudy?
Yeah. Why you?
Rudy, on your feet.
Right.
Okay.
Hello. Now, what are you doing here?
Let's go!
Oh. Man, why are these monsters so hot? Hold on. They really scaled this down, huh? What are you gonna be? I have the foggiest. Power, okay. hello. That's for sure a tech move. Nice. You're for sure your tech now, right? You are.
Counting on you. I won't give up. Got it.
Ride. And I'm not having this shit. Boom!
Now's your chance.
Okay. Why make monsters not hot if you can make them hot? True. Ball.
Oh no.
Watch out!
Is this speed now? Was it power? Oh, I can't. I'll just take the L. It's speed, yeah. Okay, so it's speed with the mud ball.
Let's go!
Fuck!
It's calmed down.
Come on. Ah, sad.
Don't push yourself.
Alright.
Keep pushing.
Synchro rush, Pog!
We've got this.
Okay, I think it's back to normal now. Which was strength.
Counting on you.
So I'm going to make a speed attack with my bow. Yeah. Let's go.
You did it.
I won. Damn, that's a good looking monster.
On to the next. Tremendous work, Your Highness. Very well done.
That zappy thing you do saved me once again. Thank you, Rudy.
Oh, I'm just so glad I could help, truly. Those who are born with this power are meant to lead my clan forward, or so they say. Even so, my ability's half-baked at best. Startling monsters with a little jolt is pretty much all it's good for.
I have to disagree.
Ugh.
You saved my life. This really was the right direction.
Looks like we had us an Almudron.
Now I see. So it wasn't the marsh mucking around with the terrain. This Almudron here was the culprit. It's just been one rare beastie after another lately. No surprise.
Yeah, because my luck?
Never runs out.
That reminds me. Princess.
Honestly, we're...
You don't have to tell me anything you don't want to. Look, I could tell you had your own stuff from the get-go. It was pretty obvious you had something special about you. I mean, this whole group revolves around you, after all. Anyway, off to the city. Good food and even better beds await.
Off we go! Your Highness!
That's cute. It's still funny that we're kind of hanging out with some guy. That we met like 2 days ago. He seems nice. That is how friendship works, to be honest. All friendships start by just hanging out with some person that you met a couple of days ago. Because they seem nice. Colossal dragon remains. What? Oh?
Oh no! There's no way!
Oh, that? That's a crystallized dragon.
It's what?
Yeah, that thing right there, that's a dragon. I ain't
Damn.
never seen one so big before, though.
It's downright colossal.
Just wait till you see it up close.
Man's right. We gotta get a better look at it. For the research alone, right?
Hold on. Galliad, we're going, right?
What kind of rangers would we be if we didn't research the encroachment?
You're all incorrigible.
That's super cool. Yippee, another lost individual.
That's Lao Shan Long!
Aha!
Real as the nose on my face!
Crazy.
Legends undersold it! Just look at how big this thing is!
They really did exist.
Incredible!
I'll tell you right now, there aren't many of us hunters who have ever met a live Laoshan Long, that's for sure.
What's with the ship?
Those guys are egg hunters.
Egg hunters?
They travel all over, searching for egg quartz. What they find, they sell for a tidy profit.
They're selling egg quartz? They've taken a mysterious byproduct of the encroachment and made an entire industry out of it?
Yeah, pretty much. Turned Galliad into the thriving city it is today. Though I admit, these past few decades have been kind of abnormally bounteous.
Everywhere we go, the encroachment keeps getting more and more dangerous. What are they thinking?
The polite read is that they're being entrepreneurial. The less polite read is that they're just a bunch of idiots.
Corbin!
Skipper, how's the haul?
Got some rare finds today. Care for a look?
I'm on the clock. Maybe next time. How's the family holding up?
Good. Chipper as ever. Before this old leg gives out. We gotta land the kind of haul that'll keep the boy fed.
Bet it's coming any day now. Give the kid my best.
Will do.
The skipper runs this sand ship. His village got hit with crystallization a ways back, so he became an egg hunter to support his family.
I get it. If it was my only way to put food on the table, I'd hunt egg forts too.
You guys up for a climb? The summit's got a great view of the city.
Wow, that sounds like it'd be super fun. Come on, Captain, what do you say?
Yeah, the ranger's gotta survey things, right?
We'll be back in a bit.
Please, take your time.
That's so cool. Oh, I love this environment. This is cute. This reminds me of Wilds. The current, newest Monster Hunter game. Oh. A poogie nearby? Oh no. I want to go out there. Look at this. Oh, treasure.
What's this?
I don't like how many dragon type items I'm getting. Also, my favorite element in all of gaming is dragon. We have fire, we have ice, we have lightning, we have water, and we have dragon. Okay. I almost have all of the anti-actions now, I think. Hello.
Puts things in perspective, seeing the world from up here. That must be Galliad.
Look at the size of this bad boy. It's all crystallized now, but can you imagine it stomping around?
Elder dragons ain't no joke. They say their steps would shake the land like earthquakes.
What's that?
Something's exploding down there.
Princess?
Over there!
Jarkon! All hands on deck! Now!
Not good. You're
I hear ya. To the oasis on the double!
I owe ya!
This monster's feral.
This
Holy shit.
monster.
I didn't expect another battle.
Well then.
You're for sure strength type, right? Nope. Uh-oh. Bye.
No!
Okay, so you're attack type. And that is not the part I should be attacking right now.
Let's go! Get him!
I'm a bit EP and a bit distracted right now. I didn't see the crystals. I didn't really look at what part I was attacking. I just looked at the weakness and it was like sword.
Watch out!
Now it's behaving strangely. Damn, okay. Now does that make you speed type or strength type? Now I can attack it.
You okay? Nice job!
Ow.
Come on, everyone.
I'm not doing well. I will get to find out what type it is and then lose. Because I guessed wrong. Yippee. I guessed right. So it's strength here. And then it was tech in the other one.
Classic.
Shit.
No!
Yeah.
Princess! No! Princess!
Okay, now I have info.
This
Counting on you.
Bonk. I think the AI is having info as well. That is good. Okay. Now your strength type. Yep. Ow. All right. Something that's strong against fire and has a speed move. You. Alrighty. My laundry's done. For real this time. Ow. Fucking hell, target something, please. Okay, we got the stock at least. I'm not equipped for this. Okay. Thunder drop and then just regular slash move to get the thingy.
Watch out!
Come on. Please let me be faster. Yes. Cool. Okay, we have the feral part. Now it's time for the topple. Please don't one-shot me. Oh, fuck.
Princess! No! Princess!
Alright. I'm not doing this today. I just don't have a camp right now here. That's annoying. Alright. I'm going back. This needs some prep. I'm also almost full up on eggs, so this is valuable right now. Farah. The bird. The silly bird. Ah. Oh, so many new items. Ah, shit. Hold on. But that means I can make so much stuff now. Ooh, Iron Sword upgrade. I have exactly enough of that one material. Funny. Wee. The shallow. And now, yes, more items. Finally, something else to buy with these. Yippee. Hi, weapon space. Don't need those right now, but good to know that I could buy them here. Yippee! Okay. I think... You know, I said yesterday I wanted to stream a bit longer today, maybe. I might actually not. And just go relax. Had a long week. Could use some rest. And it has been a normal stream. I had 2 days this week where I started late. And then 1 day where I had to end early. And that just sucks.
Hello. Thank you. Hello. Yeah.
It's just sad. Yeah, I'm taking this game slow. I know a lot of my friends have just completely no life dead. But I do enjoy the game. It's very good. Side quests are also absolutely worth it. Yeah. I'm gonna be back on Tuesday, as per usual. I hope you enjoyed stream. And I will see you on Tuesday. I wish everyone a good night. I'm going to move my camera so that the waterfall is pan center. And I wish you a good night and bye-bye.